Hey guys, today we're going to show you the tricks behind the Team Elite Physique Bikini Booty. I get a lot of requests for how do you build the glutes, how do you build the legs, how are these girls showing up to shows like this? And as an example, last year we had 33 overalls in Colorado, the most by any team, the most by any two teams combined. And most of them were bikini, winning almost every open bikini class. And that's done from the back. The best glutes win bikini, the best glutes is what gets you the attention on the streets, and today we're going to show you the tricks on how we do it.
Squatting machines here at Arm Press is the pendulum squat machine. Reason being, you're able to hold on to the machine and really drive your hips back. And I keep my hips back during the entire range of motion. On the right here, my glutes are firing off, and that's whenever I get all the way down, and then gradually through the range of motion, they'll get a little bit lighter. My stance was really wide. I was pushing my knees out while I was going down, and then I was keeping my hips back the entire time, so that all of the tension is in my glutes during the entire exercise. And so you can see here, during the whole exercise, my glutes are firing off. So it's not transferring to my quads.
So in this video, I'm showing you form for an improper hamstring curl. And as you can see, my hips raise up, my toes aren't flexed. And so as a result, I'm getting less contractions in my hamstrings. So even though you might be able to do a really heavy weight, but if you swing your hips and eliminate that time under tension, then you're not gonna get as much benefit as you can with maybe a lighter weight, but harder contractions. The mind-muscle connection is really important because if you're just kind of going through the motions or not focusing on your form, then you're not going to get as much tension on the muscle.
So for me, with this app, it's kind of cool. You can see, okay, am I pulling more with my left glute? Am I pulling more with my right glute? For me, I was pulling more with my left glute. As you can see here, it was 64% on my left side and 33% on my right. But when I was doing the exercise, Tori told me I was pulling more with my left, so I had to mentally engage my right. And when I did that, it shot up to 55% on my right cheek.
In the first portion of this exercise, I'm showing you how to engage mostly hamstrings in the hyperextension. So I'm going through a larger range of motion, but what you really want to focus on is that your back is totally stiff. And you're basically just extending yourself down. I think of a teeter-totter. You're just extending yourself down and you spring yourself up, but all from your hamstrings. And you do that by driving your heels into the pad that's supporting you. And you'll see my glutes fire a little bit, but I'm really not focused on glute contractions, though I always really am. I'm showing you the difference here. So I'm getting hamstrings to engage primarily, springing myself up. As I go into the second half of this exercise, I'm going to switch over to a glute contraction primarily, and then there's no way to not use my hamstring still, but you'll see my glutes start to fire a lot more intensely. And what I'm doing at this point is going through a much shorter range of motion, and pretty much as soon as I feel my glutes stretch, I recontract them. And I basically think of a string coming out of my butt, pulling me back up to the ceiling, all from my glutes, with the hard glute squeeze at the top. But the difference in contraction is going to be significant. In a hyperextension, I recommend that you still do squeeze your glutes in both forms, so you get the most glute engagement, but there's two different variations, so you can focus primarily on hamstrings or on glutes.
Another great exercise to do is on the reverse hack squat. So I always do a squat, and then I go into a good morning RDL. So that way I'm getting my glutes, plus I'm getting my hamstrings all in one exercise. And I do not feel this exercise in my quads at all, but I have to figure out a weight to where it doesn't transfer into my quads. So I find that perfect weight to where I keep it just in my glutes and my hamstrings and my quads don't take over. And when I'm doing that squat, I'm getting down past my knee joint so I can activate my glutes. So I go into a squat, and then I push my hips back into the RDL.
So in the beginning of this, I'm showing you what I commonly see in squat or in glute bridge form, is that girls dip their hips and then they almost point their chest forwards and then raise everything back to parallel. But what you want to do, or what you're going to see when that happens, is that there's very little engagement. You're going to see this turn blue, and that's because I'm not engaging my hamstrings or my glutes with that form. And then you're going to see it's going to change to red, As I start increasing my form and focusing on contraction, you'll see it starts to fire oranges and reds. And as the contraction gets greater, you're gonna see that it lights up even harder. And this is with form with your hips coming only almost like halfway down. So you're still keeping tension on the glute. And then when you press up to the top, it's almost like you're trying to break parallel, like your hips are peaked in the middle. Squeezing your glutes as hard as you can.
Sometimes I like to throw in some bands in there when I'm feeling a little weak. So I did glute bridges. I put this band right above my knees. On the way down, I pushed my knees out and I pushed my hips away from me. And then going up, I drove through my heels. I arched my back and went up as high as I possibly can, squeezed my middle part of my glutes together. Then on the way down, I kept my glutes tight by pushing my hips away and pushing my knees apart. It activates my hamstrings, so when I go up, I'm pulling with just my glutes. I usually do about 4 sets of 15 reps of these, but bands are great, effective way to work out your glutes.